When it comes to the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, I've seen some people saying that they weren't crazy about the Tusken Raider flashback segments, including me. I said that. Well, I was listening to ForceCenter podcast's review of the episode, and Joseph Scrimshaw's take on the flashbacks really helped me see the Tusken stuff in a new way. So I asked him to come on and share his thoughts with all of you. Take it away, Joseph.
Boba Fett is going through a lot in this first episode of Book of Boba Fett, and for me, one of the most intriguing parts of his relationship with the Tusken Raiders is seeing the different roles in their community. There are 3 featured Tusken Raiders that Boba Fett observes and interacts with: the child, the warrior, and the leader. They all relate to roles Boba Fett has played in his life, and crucially, a role he wants to have in the future. First, let's look at the child. As we see from his Bacta dreams, Boba Fett is still affected by the defining moments of his own childhood. He dreams of the waters of Kamino when he was sheltered and guided by his father Jango. He also dreams of the horror and pain of his father's death when he found himself distraught and alone on the sands of Geonosis. In the Clone Wars animated series, we see that Boba has a tumultuous youth. He strives to get vengeance and become a bounty hunter like his father. He experiences the horrific parenting of Aurra Sing, which he chooses to reject because she does not have honor like his father did. He tries to run his own crew, but he is easily defeated and bossed around by Asajj Ventress. And there are, of course, still many more stories to be told about the journey of young Boba Fett. But from what we know, Boba has complex feelings about his own childhood. On the one hand, he longs for the comfort and connection he lost when his father died. And on the other hand, he's terrified of being returned to a place of childlike weakness. Both are reflected in his relationship with the Tusken Raider child. First, Boba Fett is beaten by the child. Clearly, poor old Fett is not in a position of power. When he tries to escape, he steals the child's weapon. He shows mercy and does not strike the child, but he is left infantilized as he tries to fight the Tusken warrior while he is equipped only with the training weapon of a child. Later, the Tuskens show Boba just how weak they consider him to be. In their eyes, he is such a non-threat that he is taken to dig for water gourds guarded only by a child in their pet Massif. Once the Sand Beast emerges, Boba Fett and the child connect. They work together, showing mutual mercy to one another, and they defeat the monster. They both benefit. The child takes a step forward through this rite of passage. Boba Fett demonstrates that he has 2 forms of power: physical strength to destroy the monster and the emotional ability to care for a child. Boba Fett gives to the child what was taken from him when Jango was murdered: guidance and protection. Boba Fett demonstrates he's not the child in this situation. He's the mentor capable of treating a child with honor and guiding them to maturity. That brings us to the warrior. At some point, Boba dons the Mandalorian armor and becomes one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy. In theory, he's completed his own rites of passage and he has left the weakness and uncertainty of childhood behind. He is the best at what he does. He bristles with weapons, from jetpack to flamethrower to my personal favorite, knee-pad rocket launchers. He is a badass. In other words, Boba Fett is the warrior. He waits for jobs, commands from the likes of Vader and Jabba, and then he gets the job done. After crawling out of the Sarlacc, he's been stripped of this power. He is so weak, Jawas can steal his armor and laugh at him while they're doing it. Jerks. From this perspective, the Tusken warrior is another reflection of who Boba Fett has been. The warrior is a lot like he was: strong, stoic, and ready to attack the second the leader gives the nod. When Boba Fett tries to escape, the warrior waits until the leader commands them to act, much like Boba used to wait for the orders of Vader, Jabba, and others. Boba Fett then faces this reflection of himself in combat, and though he puts up a valiant fight, this ghost of his lost self kicks Boba Fett's butt. At least there are no Jawas around to laugh. Jerks. I think Boba's defeat of the Sand Beast probably makes him feel elevated back closer to his former warrior status, but we'll see where that ends up in future episodes. Which brings us to the leader. Boba Fett, in his role as mature warrior, has a great deal of power. He's one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy. He's feared. He can physically defeat his opponents. He has power, but it is not complete power. From his perspective, that's for the Vaders and Jabbas of the galaxy. As cool as Boba Fett seems in Empire Strikes Back, he acquiesces to Vader's orders. Vader says no disintegrations, and Boba Fett's first line is obeying an order, as you wish. In the carbon freezing chamber, we see Fett raise a blaster, only for Vader to physically lower it. In Return of the Jedi, we see Boba raise his blaster in response to the thermal detonator, but Jabba handles that situation, and Boba Fett once again stands down. Boba Fett has power, but it is the power of the warrior, the hired gun, not the power of the leader. In the small Tusken Raider community, Boba Fett observes a vision of what he could be. The leader of the Tusken Raiders seems to have absolute authority. When Boba Fett is captured, the Tusken leader looks directly at Fett and sips the water. Water is, of course, everything on Tatooine. It's life, it's the economy, it's power, and it is the leader's to take or to give. The leader is sending a message to Boba Fett. You can't have this. You're not even a warrior. You're a child. Later, we see the leader give the command to the warrior, just like Vader, Jabba, and others used to command Boba Fett. Finally, Boba Fett demonstrates his strength. He returns to the community with the child, the head of a conquered beast, and his own severed chains in his hand. Through these acts, he's earned the respect of the leader, and the leader shows it by giving Boba Fett the precious gift of water. At the end of the episode, it is a victory for Boba Fett. It's a reminder that he can fight his way out of childhood back to the position of warrior. But in the present, we know Boba Fett has a new goal. He is not satisfied with reclaiming his role of warrior in the criminal underworld of the galaxy. He wants what that Tusken leader had: control, choice, the ability to reward or punish based on their own code. Boba Fett wants to complete his evolution and become the crime lord. Not the striving child, not the competent warrior, but the respected leader. And I, for one, am pulling for Boba Fett. In your face, Jawas.
Thank you so much, Joseph. If you're not listening to ForceCenter Podcast, you are missing out. Joseph and Ken Knapsack always have great conversations about the latest Star Wars content. Their insight always impresses me, and their positive outlook is refreshing. And they're two of my favorite people in the world. If you like the vibe of this channel, I can almost guarantee you will love ForceCenter as well, and I have links to their podcast and socials down in the description, and I'll put a link to their YouTube channel in the end cards. Please check them out. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to both our channels, follow us all on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and consider checking out both our Patreon pages. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.